Everything was just fine until Brian spoke on Bronny. Then all hell broke loose.
From my understanding, he's only going to play in the South Bay Lakers home games. That he's only going to kind of be a part-time G League player. I don't like that. I don't know whose idea it was. Obviously, the Lakers are fine with it. They're doing it. I've now, on this particular instance, I think that's gone too far.
Then for some reason, Brian called Lebron a liar.
Everybody wants either over here, over here. Nobody wants to operate in the spectrum because it is both. I know it's not as fun to say both because LeBron can both say that I am held to an unfair standard, and yet he chose to wear number 23. Mm-hmm. He said also in this clip, we cut it out just for brevity, he also said, I never asked to be the face of the league.
Lies.
Of course he asked to be the face of the league. He signed a $90 million Nike contract, which he could have signed with Reebok for more money, by the way, but he signed with Nike. Why? Because of Jordan. So, yes, it is unfair at times to hold him to that standard, which, as you have described, is unimpeachable, but he also has invited it. So he is a billionaire because people across the world are attracted to the game. One of the reasons they're attracted to the game is because of the entertainment value that it brings beyond just before the ball going into the basket. So it would be more fun to take one side or the other and just scream at each other, face of the league, no, I'm not. Face of the league, no, I'm not. But that's not reality. Reality is it's in the middle. That's where I go. That's why I don't get to have as much fun. But that is the truth.
Braun then went on Pat's show and ripped Brian.
I see a lot of shit, too. Like, I seen Brian Windhorst on one of these shows not too long ago. Like
Wendy.
Yeah, you played over high school.
Wendy, you guys played together in high school.
Yeah,
right? He was on your high school
this
team.
guy was like, says he's like my fucking best friend. These guys are just weird. But
Brian first takes the high road.
There was some comments made by LeBron yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. Any reaction to that? The floor is yours.
LeBron doesn't owe me anything. I owe him a lot. He has been a great friend to my hometown and my alma mater. That I would stand on. Anything else I would never say or never stand on. So just know, Chris, that I met LeBron 25 years ago. And my understanding of LeBron and where people stand in his life has been crystal clear for a long time.
Then he takes a shot at Braun.
There's some footage that has been unearthed the last couple of days of your buddy JJ Bereeta guarding LeBron in that series.
Yes,
it's even worse than I remembered, McMahon.
Yes, that's what I
spoke to Jose Want.
Next, Brian, Michael Wilbin, and Stephen A. came out in defense of Brian.
I just had more background there. I knew his family. I knew his surrogate father, Eddie Jackson. I knew his mother, Gloria. I knew his friends. I knew Maverick Carter. I knew Rich Paul. I knew Randy Mims. Before they called themselves the Four Horsemen, I knew them. I knew Maverick when he was a wide receiver.
I've been around LeBron when people have asked him about something that happened 2 decades ago in Ohio, and he would respond by saying, I don't even remember that. Ask Wendy. That tells me he has a respect for Windhorst. I know he respects Windhorst. So why say this now? Brian is accountable, which a lot of people in this business today are not. And that pisses me off. Look, Brian is not a show monkey. He is not out here drawing attention to himself with some ego or
LeBron talked about the media weeks ago. What does he do now? He comes on Pat McAfee's show again today. I have worked with Brian Windhorst for years. Never once did he say that LeBron was a best friend. A matter of fact, years earlier, it was LeBron who sat in front of the microphones and said, probably nobody knows me better than Brian Windhorst, who's been covering me since I was in junior high school. But that's how he talked about him. Brian Windhorst is an exceptional commentator who does a phenomenal job for ESPN. My show, Get Up, NBA Today, Sports Centers, goes and covers the game. He is one of the elite people covering the NBA in this world. And nobody, I repeat, nobody defends LeBron James more than that man. And look at what LeBron James did. Y'all have watched Wendy report for years. Tell me one time. Tell me one thing that Brian Windhorst has done to negatively impact LeBron James. One. Take your time. I'll wait. Nobody is more fair. Nobody digs deeper, maneuvers through the crevices to find the positive about LeBron James, no matter what the story is. But that's how LeBron.
Brian takes another shot at Braun.
He sits down with Steve Nash, and all he does is an X's and O's for an hour. People aren't going to like that.
Then Braun ethered him on X.
Long ways from being done. Sucks. They have to listen to guys who know nothing about basketball, talk about basketball.
When people talk about the game of basketball, they want to talk about the drama. If you do a full show that's all X and O's, that's not going to be any good. He sits down with Steve Nash, and all he does is an X's and O's for an hour. People aren't going to like that.
All right, so this seems very petty. But why is LeBron continuing to lash out against Brian Windhorst? A simple, irrelevant nobody in the grander scheme of the NBA things. You know, it's hard to comprehend. You know, many say that LeBron is the greatest of all time, but he's coming for this guy, you know, who in maybe 5-10 years from now, you know, we will remember, and our kids won't even think about it. They probably see him on YouTube and not even think about it. You know, not even remember the name or be aware of the name Brian Windhorst. But it seems LeBron has smoke for him. But for many other guys, many other people, he doesn't have smoke. I don't know. This past week, Rick Bucher, okay, a legend in the broadcasting world, called out LeBron and spoke for many in the NBA and said that, you know, quote, many in the NBA believe that LeBron is taking something. LeBron didn't respond to him. Neither has he responded to anybody at all in regards to that issue. But he has smoke here. He has responses for Brian Windhorst. Okay, I'm thinking one of two things. It's either one, right, he's trying to get at low-hanging fruit. Okay, Brian Windhorst, you know, he's not somebody who has been in conflict with anybody at all. Right, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. We haven't seen him in any beef. He's not like somebody like Charles Barkley. He's not somebody like Stephen A. He's not somebody like Shaq, who, if you talk about them or talk about something that they said, they will clap back at you. Brian Windhorst, for the most part, right, if you say something about him, he'll just brush it off to the side. And that's what he did the first time, you know, that LeBron said something. So that's why I'm thinking LeBron's probably getting at him because he's an easy kill. My second reason, I think, is because, you know, LeBron might feel betrayed. Right? Because from what I've heard, Brian Windhorst has been covering LeBron since high school. And he's come up in the ranks with LeBron side by side, and LeBron has enabled him to reach all the way to the NBA. That's what I heard. And LeBron felt slighted this year by Windhorst's comments about him. So it seemed as though now, you know, he's getting back at him as some sort of revenge. All right, even this last comment about like, oh, they're going to have to talk more to X's and O's, that kind of seems like a little cheap shot as well. So I don't know if LeBron feels that way, you know, that he wants his revenge on, you know, a former friend or a former acquaintance or some, at least somebody who he thought was in his corner all these years, all these 20-something odd years, who now has potentially backstabbed him. All right, but I think it's one of those two things. Chime in. Let me know what you think in the comments. right? And that's about it. So until next time.